Hello, good morning. All right, we are currently live on YouTube, currently live in the Fenley Beadwork Instructor Facebook page. And oh my goodness, we are going live in the Learn How to Make French Beaded Flowers Facebook group. I thought it wasn't going to happen. Hello, I'm Fenley, and you are currently live with me for another bead and chat and help session. Good morning. It is September 12th, 2025, 10:01 a.m. Central Standard Time here in the Midwest, USA. Well, is it going live or no? In the Facebook group, I don't know. I thought it was going. I thought it was going. So we'll see. We'll see. Just give me a minute, you guys. We'll see how that goes, if it's connecting or not. But if you're currently already here, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from and what are you working on. We are beading together today, or just working on projects together. You don't have to bead. You can do other things too. We have people that just join me just because they want to hang out, and that is fine too. Say hello, where you're watching from, what you're working on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and try to share it from my page. Okay, just a minute, just a little housekeeping to start out with, which is what we do sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. So, okay. All right, we've got a busy day today. I have a lot to say, so let's get started. Okay, so it looks like we have Rebecca joining us. Hello, Rebecca from India. Awesome. Thanks for joining me from India. Okay, I'm going to start working. I am, again, working on a project for my next class that I am going to announce on Monday. So, and I've been trying to work on this project for the last month or so. So it's been a while. It's been a while. I've been working on this for a while. Okay. Hello, Louise. You're watching from YouTube today. Cool. Okay. Thanks for joining me. Let me know what you're working on. Okay. Rebecca and Louise, let me know what you are working on. Okay. I am going to assemble my flower, but I am not going to show what I did, right? I'm not going to show you, but I am working on projects because I need to get this done. I can talk and bead at the same time, or I can talk and do stuff at the same time. So yesterday I had a friend come over. We had to have a meeting about something, and I was making kits and we were talking. I can talk and bead and do stuff at the same time. Most of the time. Most of the time. One of the reasons why I started this, I guess, live streaming is because, well, I guess I've been doing this for over almost a year now, just coming on live every week. And one of the reasons why I started doing this was because I was starting to feel kind of down because I wasn't getting, I wasn't interacting with a lot of people because I was thinking of actually quitting because I needed more. I needed something more, right? Because like I'm the type of person that needs other people, and I was just beading at home by myself, and I was getting lonely. And like the live streaming and talking to you guys really did help me just kind of continue to do what I'm doing, because I was just, I seriously was thinking about quitting just because, and just, finding a job outside of my studio because it's just me, right? But the streaming and actually getting some interaction like this really did help me stay focused and continue doing what I love, which is beading. I love what I do, but at the same time, just I'm just lacking some things, right? That I needed for myself. And so, and at the time I was thinking, I bet you other people are in the same position as me, where they are not getting that interaction with people and just kind of feeling down just because you're not getting enough human interaction. And so it has really helped me, and I hoped it has helped you too. So these live streams, beating together and chatting together. And as the world is falling apart, we are just going, that meme where the dog is, drinking his coffee, amongst while his house is burning. I just feel like that is where we are right now. We are just pretending like things are fine. Like we're just carving out this small circle, small circle on the internet while the world is burning. Right? So yeah, that's where we are. Okay. Let me see. I still want to see if there's, okay, let me go into the Facebook group. If you're in the group, I shared the live stream. So if you want to chat, click on the video and then chat, or go on YouTube like Louise did, because it wasn't working in the group. So, all right. Ooh, I'm showing you what I'm doing. I shouldn't do that because I shouldn't be doing that. It's a secret. It's a secret. And I got an email from last night from a student, I'm assuming college student, with some questions about French beading. So I thought I would share those and answer those live, because you know what? I don't feel like sitting there for 15 minutes to half an hour typing when I can just talk. I would much prefer that. All right. So if you are watching, the person who wrote this email, I am sharing this and answering this live here. Okay, so my screen has things and it's covering most of the words. So let me open something else up so I can actually read it. Okay, so this person said, I'm a year 11 student currently doing AIF. I don't know what the heck AIF is, but I'm assuming either high school student or university student, okay, where I create and complete a learning goal. I am designing and creating French beaded bouquet. Big inspiration is your Instagram. Also loving your YouTube tutorials. Wondering if you could help me answer a few questions. Okay. All right. So here are the questions. All right, number 1. What are some tips you wish someone told you when you first began French beading? Right. I guess, well, story time. Let's get back to that's story time. When I first started French beading, I was in college or university, and I also emailed a list of questions to a lot of bead stores. So, and this is one of the reasons why I felt compelled to answer all your questions, because I was in the same position where I had an assignment while I was in school and I was infatuated with beading. And so I emailed a lot of bead stores, and not all of them answered my questions, but many of them answered my question. And I really, really appreciate that. So, major reason. So, I'm just feeling some kind of way, not bad, uh, mostly nostalgia, I guess, about getting this list of questions from, I'm assuming, a college student, because I was in the same position. I started beading, French beading, when I was in college or university, and I was in the same position, right? And I really appreciated getting my questions answered. They were really, really, I guess, not personal, but questions that a lot of them would be uncomfortable answering, and I understand why some of them didn't answer me. But they saw my, I guess, student ID, or they came from a university email, so I guess some of them saw that and was like, okay, this is not like a competitor trying to gain insider information or anything like that. It's just a college student trying to learn. So, yeah. So, first question. Okay. Looks like we have Natia joining us. Hello. Liz from North Carolina. Hello. Norma. Hello, Norma. Thanks for joining me today. Norma is my bestie from 4th grade. We've known each other, Norma. We've known each other since 4th grade. So, so thanks for coming on and chatting. Let me know what you're doing. What are you working on? Okay, so tips that someone told you when you first began French beading. Number 1 question. Well, I guess number 1, get a bead spinner, right? My first project, it was Daleen Kelly's cabbage. No, not my first project. Not my first project. Okay. Subsequent projects, but I was beading. But that is the project that I remember, like, in my mind, where I said, after that, I said, I need to get a bead spinner. That project, it's a huge flower. And I strung the beads on the wire, one by one, onto the wire, and made the rose. So even if you don't get a bead spinner, at least use the scooping method. Just put it in a bowl and scoop the beads onto your wire. Just pretend this is a bowl. Oh, I have a bowl right here. Even if you don't have access to a bead spinner, get a little bowl like this, tip your bowl and then scoop your beads onto the wire. Please do not be like me when I first started beading when I was a college student and string the beads on one by one onto the wire. And you know what I did after I finished that rose? I took it apart because I didn't lace the petals. The petals were so big and it just looked horrible because I didn't lace the rose together, or just lacing is, oh, I can't think of the word right now. It's kind of like, sewing the rose together. Words are not coming to me today. It's basically sewing the rose together to make your rose a lot neater. And I cannot stress this enough. And if you've been in my classes, if you've watched my tutorials on YouTube, or just hung out in the French beading group, then you know my feelings about lacing. You need to lace. So don't try to be, I guess, lazy about it. I sometimes I feel lazy and I don't want to lace, but overall, you should lace your flowers. Okay, you should lace your flowers. So one, use your bead spinner. Okay, get a bead spinner, or you can make your own bead spinners. There are, you can use a little bowl, stick like a dowel on there and turn it. So, or scooping method. So whatever method you use, do not string the beads on one by one. And also lace your flowers. Those are my two biggest tips: bead spinner and lace your flowers. So I have tutorials on how to lace on my YouTube channel if you need help with that. Okay. Okay, looks like we've got Natia joining us. Hello, Natia. No French beading. Okay, going to dinner with her awesome husband and daughter. 27th wedding anniversary. Awesome. That is a long time. This year, okay, is my husband and I's 20th anniversary. So long time. So congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, Louise says that is very addictive. What is addictive? French beading. Yes, very addictive. Norma wants to know if I still sell my bead spinners. Yes, I still sell my bead spinners. Okay, so I am only shipping to the US right now. I stopped shipping internationally. There was one order that slipped through for the UK, and I did send it out because I'm like, well, I googled the UK, and they're pretty cool, I guess. I wouldn't say the word. I don't know if cool is the right word, but as far as import fees and tariffs and things like that, it should be okay. But I have stopped shipping internationally, and I adjusted my website and I adjusted my Etsy, and right now everything is tightened up, and I'm only currently shipping to the US. So yes, I am still selling these bead spinners. It is a bead spinner, and then you can undo it to be when you're done beading, it becomes a container. And I know most of you in the comments, you have one already, so I don't need to sell it to you. You already have it, right? So I am not using that right. I'm not beading today, so I am just assembling. All right. Let me look at my notes, see what I need to cut first before I talk some more. Okay. 24, 25, 26. So what I'm trying a different thing, because as we were talking in the comments before about embroidery floss, a lot of you are having trouble with embroidery floss. And normally when I floss the stems, I keep it on the skein or the card. That's just, I mean, it works well for me. It works okay for me. And I guess probably because I've been doing this a while and know not to twist all the strands, but I'm thinking it's probably easier for y'all if we cut the floss off of the stem. So that's what I'm doing this next lesson. And I know Lauren already does this, and a lot of you probably already do it already. So I'm going to start doing that. I just didn't see the value before in having to do this extra work, but I guess I will start. It works for me to keep it on the skein, but it's probably better for, especially for beginners who are learning, to cut it off the skein. Okay. Liz is working on Anna's pine cone. Norma says, it's okay, Fan, it's Friday. Yes. But, you know, Norma, it doesn't have to be Friday. It's every day, because that's just my stage of life right now. It's every day. It's every day. Okay. Second question. Do you think it's realistic for me to create a flower bouquet with at least 5 different flowers within 10 weeks? I can't say yes and I can't say no. And it would, for me, I would say I probably would not be able to in the stage of life that I am in. Because I have kids and I can't spend all my time beading. And I also have, you know, flowers to make, to teach and do other things, you know, tutorials and videos and things like that. So one flower that I'm making will take, the flower that I'm working on it's taking me like 2 months, which is how many weeks? Already 8 weeks. And that's just one flower. Okay, that's just my stage in life. So for me, I would say probably not. I probably won't be able to do that because I have other commitments. But when I was a college student, and if your only focus is your assignment, which this would be your assignment, this would be one of your, you know, projects for your class. So you would have the time to do it. And if I had that time to focus on making beaded flowers for a class to reach that goal, then I would say probably yes. I mean, I wouldn't do a flower like my sunflower back there, which takes like 30 hours to make one sunflower. That would take, I don't know. Well, I mean, if you really focus and do it in a few days, if you don't, you know, do anything else, then sure. So for you, probably yes. For me, probably no. And for other people, people with people in my stage of life where we have jobs, kids, um, and aging parents to take care of, I would say no. You can't do it in 10 weeks. That sounds crazy, right? But if you're a college student and that is basically your job, right? So then yes, I would say yes, you can do it. But with the caveat, it depends on the type of flower. You wouldn't want something that will take an obscene amount of time, right? So most intermediate, beginner to intermediate projects should be okay. Okay. Okay, Norma says 20 years. Yep, 20 years. Congrats to you and hubby. Glad you guys are still creating and selling the bead spinners. Yes. Oh, yeah, the bead spinners. Beadflora.com, and you can find the links to buy the bead spinners. Currently only selling to, I guess, the US people, because that's where I am. Okay. Rebecca says, I am more into learning different crafts and artworks, mainly because it is something that interests me a lot. And it is also very calming. Yes. And like one of the reasons why I started getting back into French beading. Well, I was beading in college. And then, of course, I took a break when I was done with school, work and stuff. I took a break, and then I got back into French beading because I was just having a hard time in the workplace. And my husband said, why don't you get back into beading? That might help you, you know. So that's what I did. I got back into beading. Okay, hang on. I want to make sure. I'm just looking at my samples, trying to figure out what I need to do. Because I think obviously I didn't write good enough notes. You know how you think that you can just remember things? I mean, I wrote notes, but I don't think good enough. Because somehow I think I'm still like, somehow I still think that I'm like a college kid and I can remember all the things. I used to remember, like when I bought beads, I would remember in my head, like the prices of beads and things like that. I was like, oh yeah, I just remember it. I don't need to write it down. And then, now it's different. And somehow in my mind, I think I can still do that. And I can't. I can't do that. You got to write things down when you don't remember. So hang on. As I am live and trying to figure out my pattern, I need to write things down. Okay. Or did I write it down? I don't think so. Okay. Rebecca says, up until now, working with beads in different ways is one of my favorite things. Yep. Well, I am doing mostly just French beading, but I love how like how we do different techniques. I love that. Just different techniques. All right, bye, Norma. Okay, next question. Do you have any tips on arranging flowers? Short answer. Well, maybe. I guess I should have some tips, right? But I am not the greatest at arranging flowers. But what I do is I play around a lot until the bouquet looks nice or looks good. So I don't have any, strategic ways, or I can't give you like the techniques that florists use, do this, do that, and it looks good. I can't do that, right? All I do is I play around, I put it in a vase, I cut it, I make mistakes. This looks horrible. And so I take it apart and I redo it. One example, I don't have the bouquet with me right now, but my cover project for my first book, Bead Flora, The Revival of French Bead Flowers, the cover project for this project, or for the cover arrangement, I took it apart so many times to arrange it in a way that it looks nice. So that is the only tip that I can give you, is just to play around until it looks okay. It may take a long time. It may take a while, and you will get better with time, because I can't give you techniques on what to do, but arrange the flowers at different heights. Make sure it looks okay in the round, right? Like it looks okay on all sides, if that's how you, if you want like a bouquet, right? Just make sure it looks okay. Varying heights, and it looks okay from all sides. So, and basically look at pictures of arrangements and just try to emulate the arrangements, right? Okay. Natia says, as a beginner, I once made a wedding bouquet for my parents. It had very few leaves. Oh, that's a good point. Leaves. That's a good point, Natia. Having enough leaves just fills out a bouquet. That's a great point. Okay. There's another tip. Leaves. It had very few leaves and 11 to 12 different heavy and light flowers. However, as a housewife, I worked on it for several hours every day. It took me 2.5 months to complete. Okay, so that's about 10 weeks. Yeah, so there you go. It can be done in 10 weeks. Okay, Rebecca says, I actually started working with beads in 2013 when I was spiraling into depression and nervous breakdown. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's how it was for me. I was just not in a good place, and started working with beads again, and it did help. So my parents ended up buying seed beads from the U.S. on their way back after visiting my big brother, just to keep me and my hands busy. That's amazing. So Rebecca, where do you get your beads now? Are you able to buy beads in India now, or are your parents sending you beads from the U.S.? All right. Number 4. Do you have a favorite flower to create? No, I don't have a favorite flower to create or to make. I really enjoy the designing process and the beading process. So it's not about the flower for me. It's not a specific flower. It's more what I enjoy is the actual beading, and what I get high on is looking at a flower, a live flower, and then being able to use the French beading techniques and then translating it into beaded flowers. So that's that's what I that's what I get high on, not get a specific flower. But I really enjoyed making the sunflower, which you can see in the back there. It doesn't look as big from this angle, but it's as big as my head, right? So I really enjoyed making that because it was a challenge. It was a huge challenge. It took me years to figure out what to do. I would say maybe 5 years. 5 years, I would say, from beginning to end. It took me 5 years. I did the flower study, and then I made the petals. That was a challenge too. Like the structure of the sunflowers, there's no like external things that I need to use to support it. There's no external supports. The supports are all beads and wires. So what I really get high on is the process and figuring out the problem, just figuring out the puzzle of how to make the beaded flower. So, but yes, sunflower was one of my favorites because of the process, because it was hard. Because it was hard and I figured it out, and wow, I was like, when I figured it out, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool, right? I can assemble this giant sunflower using just fluoro tape if I wanted to. If I didn't want to, I didn't need to use any assembly wire. So that, it still blows my mind that I was able to do that. And besides the sunflower, the other one that I really enjoyed making was, okay, I have this right here so I can show you. This bird of paradise. I don't have the pattern released yet. Just before the summer, I started writing the tutorial and then the videos, but summer happened and I've got kids and then I have to work on this class. So it's still not done yet. So it's all here, but it's not released yet. So too many things to do. Okay. Rebecca says, I get my beads from India now. I actually get once a day in a year to buy things I love, but I have to go far into the city to buy my beads. Okay. Well, glad you can get beads where you are and don't have to import it. Okay. All right. I think there was one more question. Oh, two more. What challenges did you face when you were first learning and how did you overcome them? Challenges. A major challenge that I have for me personally is because I am all over the place. I struggle to, one of my struggles, and I still struggle with it today, if I were to follow other people's directions on how to make something, is follow directions. When I first, my first French beaded, my first beaded flower, um, I tried to make was one of those like little roses, and it was in the Victorian technique. But I downloaded a French beading tutorial from Daleen Kelly on her rose, and Daleen Kelly's rose is back there somewhere. That was the first French beaded flower that I made. But the first rose I made was a Victorian technique flower. Okay, get something first. My first flower was a Victorian beaded flower. And I was trying to make the Victorian flower using French beading techniques, or vice versa. I was trying to make a French beaded flower using Victorian. It just didn't translate. Okay, I just couldn't follow directions. That is hard for me. So maybe not for you, maybe not for you, but that is something that I struggle with. And how I overcome it, I started writing my own directions instead. I started designing instead of trying to follow other people's directions. So that's what I do. Well, I mean, with their last collaboration with Lauren, she writes great instructions too, and I had to follow her instructions, and she needs to follow my instructions because we beaded each other's flowers with Lauren Harpster. Our last collaboration was I beaded her orchid, and she beaded my bird of paradise. No, not bird of paradise, anthurium, right? So she had to follow my directions on making the anthurium, which I have right here. I don't have the orchid, but I have the anthuriums. This was our last bead along. She had to follow my horrible directions because it was a draft, and I didn't finish it before I gave it to her. And I'm like, okay, girl, I'm behind. So this is my draft. I don't have time to give you the directions. Right. So, I mean, I had directions, but it was very poor. But I guess I learned from that, from reading those directions from previous tutorials, I learned how to write tutorials for people like me, right? Like for people that can't follow directions properly. I realized what is the issue that I couldn't follow the directions. So I tried to make it as clear as possible. It's like what might I have trouble with if I were to read this pattern? Like, what would I have trouble with? So I tried to figure out, okay, so this is what I would have trouble with if I were a beginner, and this is what I would. So I write the directions for me, right? I writing directions for people like me and people like me. But I don't know if I really answered your question because I took a whole different direction with my struggles. Okay, Nadia says, where can I download instructions from Daleen Kelly? I thought they were only very old books by her. Yes. Originally, when I downloaded Daleen's tutorial on her rose was on her website, and she has since taken down her website. It's no longer available. So I think she also, and she has 2 books. What are the names of her books? I don't remember. I don't remember the names of her books. Sorry. But there's 2 books, And what happened also is Daleen, she got the rights back from her publisher, and she self-published her 2 books together along with more patterns, and it is on Amazon. So you can, there's a Kindle version, which I got also because there was like additional patterns, and there is a print version. The downside is the print version. This new version of her books is completely different than the books from her publisher. One, if you get the print version, you don't get pictures. I mean, you get pictures, but they are in black and white. And yeah, that's the main thing. So I guess if you want pictures, get the Kindle version of her book. So, I mean, I would only recommend that book, that the full collection of Daleen's patterns, if you are proficient with reading French beaded patterns. If you're proficient with reading French beaded flower patterns, it's not a good guide for learning as a beginner. And that is my personal opinion. If you want to learn French beading, that would not be a good book to get started with because there are limited pictures, because she tried to cram all of her patterns into this one book, right? And it's mostly text with some pictures. So you can still get it. So if you want patterns, lots and lots of patterns, I would recommend that you get the Kindle version. I guess you can even get the print version if you don't mind having, black and white photos. So, but if you can get her first 2 books from the publisher, maybe like used book or something like that, then that's what I would recommend, that first, because the tutorials with the pictures in her first 2 books are good. Just the Kindle version, the new one, there's not many pictures on there. Okay, Louise says, love your bird of paradise. Patiently waiting for the pattern. Thanks, Louise. Thank you. Well, after this beat along, right? Hopefully, maybe November, December, hopefully, right? So it's been a long time. I'm getting impatient because I want to release it, but I can't yet. Okay. Number 6, how do you structure your time when working on large projects like a full bouquet? Okay. Well, I am not a person that you should ask about time management. Okay. So that is never my forte. So I am sorry. I can't answer that question. Um, in my stage of life, what I do is Okay, hopefully I'm back on. Okay, so my connection was lost. Let me know if you see me. Do you see me? Can you hear me? Let me know. Okay, so I don't know where I was. I don't know what you guys heard from the last question. So basically, I just said a quick recap that I am not the person to ask about time management because I am just all over the place. Okay. Okay. Nathia says, thank you for the great explanation. I don't have a Kindle reader and won't be buying one. I'd rather collect instructions from you and Lauren and others here in the group. Okay. Yeah. I am just not a fan of Kindle books. And speaking of books from Amazon. Okay, so I was gonna talk about the AI book on French beading. So since I have a lot to say today, I will stay on a little bit later and talk about it because you know what? Why not? Because so in the group earlier in the week, there was a person that asked about this specific book, right? And this book called DIY French Bead Creations, Flowers for Every Occasion. And someone posted this book and asked, what is going on? Have you read this book? There's no directions in there. And this book is completely bogus. So if you purchase the book, this is AI, artificial intelligence generated, and it is just not possible to do in real life in French beading. I'm not even going to go into the directions. I did sign up for a free trial of Kindle Unlimited, and I pulled it up to read. I don't have a Kindle either, Natia. I was able to read it online. I just signed up for the trial, and then it just like popped up as a PDF for me on my computer. So you don't need to get a Kindle reader if that's what you mean. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Kindle books. But I did sign up for the trial to take a look at this one, and the directions are completely bogus, right? One, well, I mean, let's look at some of the reviews, right? So absolutely useless, no real patterns, poor description, no pictures. How could this book even be published? It looks like a very poorly done copy of a potential real book. What is this? Waste of money. Yep, totally agree. If you got this book, return it. Okay, return the book. I don't know if you can like report this book or anything like that, but if you can report it, if you purchase the book and you can report this book, please report it. I don't want people to waste their money. How much was it? I think it was like $7 or $8, like $8 for this useless book, right? Please do not get it. If you can get a refund, get your refund. Okay, so don't give them your money. Hey, another review: useless book, zero patterns, zero photos, just text. And any book with patterns or any. Oh, I'm not even going to read that. You can see on the screen. Okay. But, and well, I can't put on the screen the Kindle version. I have it pulled up on my computer, but I'm not going to put it on the screen because of copyright. You know, it shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem, but I should respect their copyright. You know, I shouldn't put it on the screen because it is their copy. But I will pull up my Kindle and just kind of tell you what kind of stuff that I went through it a little bit, and it is just very bogus. It's very bogus, some of the directions. Okay. They just basically, I don't know, just scoured the internet for information and, just had some basic stuff, doesn't show you what to do, made up some techniques. Yeah, there was like made up techniques. Let me see if I can find that made up technique that they did. Okay. Because I thought that was like hilarious. There's this specific one I'm trying to look up. And I'm probably, even though this is a free trial, me going through these pages will still generate income for them. Probably just pennies, right? Because that's how Kindle Unlimited works. They get paid by like how many pages are read. So I don't want to go through it too much. I don't want to go through it too much and then, feed the troll type of thing. I don't want to feed the troll. So just let me go through my screenshots. Okay. Like a basic instruction is kind of like step 1, create 5 to 6 petals using the continuous wrap loop. Well, there's no continuous wrap loop. It's a continuous wrap around loop, right? So they couldn't even get the names of the techniques right. And an intermediate project is a rose. Okay. Create 8 to 6 petals, varying their size. Okay, those are the steps. Step 1, right? Create 8 to 6 petals, varying their size slightly to form inner and outer petals. But how? Assemble the petals in overlapping layers to create a realistic bloom. How? Add green leaves and wrap the stem with floral tape. Like, okay, how do you make the leaves? Okay, another project. Forget-me-nots. Make 5 petal flowers using the basic loop technique. There is no basic loop technique, right? What are you talking about? What basic loop technique? Okay. Peony. Create 12 to 15 petals of varying sizes using the continuous wrap loop. I would not make a peony with a continuous wraparound loop technique. Layer the petals tightly around the center to form a bloom. Add leaves. Okay. 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 An advanced beading technique is the crossover loop. Are you kidding me? That is if they mean the continuous crossover loop, that is a beginner technique. So no, it's not an advanced technique. Right. Oh, here's what I found funny. Okay. There's a made up technique called the zigzag loop. This technique allows you to form petals with sharp, angular edges. I don't have the next page on that. So this is from my screenshot, and I don't want to go through the Kindle to feed the troll. So zigzag loop. And the fringe technique, a technique used to create delicate fringe stamens, blah, blah, blah. The fringe technique adds length and movement to your flowers, making them appear more natural. Okay. Instruction. Thread beads onto wire, then create a series of small loops that extend outward. How? Twist the wire securely at the base of the fringe to keep the beads in place. No, we don't twist fringes at the base. That would be like if we were to do a regular loop. We don't twist for a fringe, right? Number 3, attach the fringe to the center of your flower, layering multiple fringe sections. Okay, best for pistils of lilies or dramatic stamens. Well, that is correct, I guess, for stamens. Just sigh. Just sigh. Oh, the zigzag. Back to the zigzag. Blah, 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 for creating more geometric structured look. Perfect for flowers that require more rigid pointed shapes. How to do it. Create a basic loop, but instead of bending the wire in a smooth curve from sharp angles at each bend to create a zigzag pattern. Okay, let's read that again. Create a basic loop. Okay, I'm going to assume a loop, like a continuous loop. But instead of bending the wire in a smooth curve, what does that mean? Bending the wire in a smooth curve. To form sharp angles at each bend. Impossible. How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? Continue adding beads to the wire and repeating the zigzag pattern. A zigzag is kind of like this, right? How are you zigzagging in from a loop? Continue adding beads to the wire and repeating the zigzag pattern to form each petal or leaf. Shape the petals and blah, blah, blah to assemble. Ideal for creating angular or pointed flowers, such as lilies, irises, or geometric arrangements. Okay. The double twist for stronger stems. What is it? A technique used to create sturdy stems by twisting 2 wires together for added strength and flexibility. This is particularly useful for larger flowers that require a more robust structure to hold their shape. A double twist? Oh, I'm thinking, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that for stems. That is, no. Okay, this is what we advise you not to do because it will give you lumpy stems. No, you don't want to do that. Okay, I'm getting mad. I'm getting so mad. Yeah, Natia, that's very, very funny. So please, if you okay, so Suzanne messaged me yesterday about something, and I asked her, "Are you talking about the AI book?" And she was like, "No, but what AI book?" And you know what? It turns out she did buy this book. Suzanne did buy this book, and the physical book. And I said, "You need to return this book because it's bogus, right? It's bogus. Don't buy this. Don't feed the troll." Okay. Okay. Now let's look at it again. It's just some of this stuff is just impossible to do. Okay. So first of all, exhibit 1. Look at this stem on where I circled it, right? With the red where I circled it on the flower at the top. How are we going to have this flower on there with, it looks like some basic frame petals, which would have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 12 bottom wires on that purple and white flower, at least 12 bottom wires. How is it going to fit on that one stem on that probably 24 gauge wire or 22 gauge wire, right? You can, the wire, the heaviest wire that you can have that will fit size 11 seed beads is 22 gauge wire. And it is not, you cannot just physically put all those petals on that stem and then still on a beaded stem like that, just one stem. That's crazy. but in the directions, didn't they just say double twist? Like, where's the double twist to make it stronger, right? So the directions, their supposed directions don't line up with what they're doing in the photos of the cover. So bogus. Okay, next exhibit. The rose you see on here, it's going horizontally, right? Horizontal rows. We don't do, okay. There are horizontal rows in Victorian beading, yes, but not in French beading. So, but then you look at the next, the one next to it, you see the rows that we would normally do, they go up and down. So yeah, that's bogus. How many times am I going to say bogus today? Okay. All right, next. Okay, I didn't zoom in on this one. I'm not sure if I can zoom in. Like, how are we going to, I guess, attach that flower, that red and yellow flower, onto a single stem, onto 22 gauge wire, supposedly, like a beaded stem like that, and then somehow have like these extensions off of the side of the flower. That is impossible, right? How? That's kind of impossible. All right. I'm going to go through these quickly because we're running out of time. But I'm enjoying today's stream today. Yeah. Also, I guess these are the fringes. But again, it is attached to this one single, possibly 22 gauge stem, 22 gauge wire beaded stem, right? Like all the stuff on the flower being attached onto that stem. Like, I don't even know how they did it. You look at the beads in the middle, you see the holes in the middle, but then there's like, is it just floating there? Like, what is the blue stuff, right? So what is that? How you don't see wires on the beads in the middle? So how is it there? Is it just floating? Okay. Next one. It's just, look at that. It's just like, how, just again, how? That's not how we make leaves. Maybe that one leaf underneath that flower possibly resembles something in French beading, but I don't even know what that bottom stuff is. Like, what the heck is that? I don't know. Okay, final one. Final one. Like, what the heck is this? Okay, possibly, with needle and thread bead weaving. Possibly, I don't know. I don't know anything about bead weaving. It's not my area of expertise. But then this is a French beading book, right? It's not French beading, so yeah. Totally bogus. Totally bogus. Oh, Rebecca says, I don't know what my parents will think if they knew I was interested in French bead flowers because they already think my regular bead weaving work is too time consuming and complex. Wow. You're just replacing one art form with another. It's okay. Let's pretend that the French beading is also bead weaving. They don't have to know it's a completely different thing. They don't have to know. Okay. Yeah, not yet. It's hilarious. Okay. Rebecca says this video was very helpful. The questions you got were very good, and so were the answers and tips you gave were very helpful. Thank you for this video and all the other videos. You're welcome. I'm glad you found it helpful. That's the purpose of these streams, is to help y'all, to help you guys, to help you, and also to help me, because I find a lot of joy in doing these. So thank you for being here with me every week. My regulars, you know who you are. So thank you for being here with me every week. And I do really enjoy these. And I will be back next week, same time, same place. So let me look at my calendar. I want to double check. So next week, 19th. Yes. So same time, same place, September 19th, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah, Central Standard. So next week, September 19th, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Come back here and we will bead and chat. I didn't do much beading today because I had a lot to say. but maybe I'll go back to a more chill live next week. So, all right. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you next week. Bye.